Alright, you got me. I obviously have to press play before I tell you I'm going live. This is clearly too fast for me. Alright. Just getting my stuff together. That's how you stick your tongue out at me. Okay, let's see. Just got home, took a shower. I'm gonna pull some stuff from the fridge and see what happens. I was kind of going, I got some tortillas. I'm making salsa, and cheese is always a good addition, so it was kind of quesadillas or nachos. I don't know, maybe we'll do one of those. Does that sound good? We're gonna do something. There you go. Tortillas. And what do I got? Oh, I got an avocado, and it's ripe. Yeah, that one's good. That's good. I say nachos is easy. There we go. Alright. This is one of those things that I always have in the fridge because it makes for really quick meals. Tortillas are good for making quesadillas. They're good for making fast pizzas when I don't have time to do pizza dough. They're great for making nachos late night movie watching fodder, which is always entertaining. And they're basically customizable any way you want. Plus they keep forever. Have you ever noticed that? Seriously, tortillas in the fridge will just keep like months on end, which is crazy. Alright, I'm gonna toast these because I don't have tortilla chips, so we'll make them chips. There you go. Choppy chop. I know I could be putting these in a circle, they probably fit better. oh dear. What am I doing? This is what happens when I decide to go and make food late at night. Clearly I should be just making a bowl of ramen. Get down there. There we go. Alright. What's your tortilla go-to, Cal? Do you do quesadillas? You do nachos? You do like a burrito? You like tortillas? Don't like tortillas? Yep. This is going really fast. There we go. So I'm just putting some oil into my spray bottle. So I do everything olive oil. I have this fancy schmancy bottle here. Don't really have one. Tortillas anyway is good. How about rolled up with banana and peanut butter? That's a good way to use tortillas. So yeah, I was talking about my oil bottle. This is basically a high pressure pump sort of system. Well, you know what? Plain is good too. I mean, they're tasty. So I'm just spraying a little oil just to help them crisp up. I'm just gonna... And these are gonna go in the oven. It's not finished preheating yet, but it'll sing eventually at some point. Okay, so nachos, meaning avocado, meaning sour cream. Yeah, that's where I was going. Sour cream, some cheese. There we go. Oops, wait, do we have a cheddar? Now we'll do a mix. What's better than one cheese? Than two cheese? Yeah, well, I'd say nachos are kind of one of those. Hey, Isa! I'd say nachos is one of those kind of borderline Mexican things. I mean, you eat it with Mexican ingredients and you get it in Mexican restaurants. Yeah. Yeah, Isa, I'm making nachos. And yes, making you hungry. I'm hungry and I have to make this to eat it, so. What else do I have? Hey, Sid, how's it going? So yeah, I don't know. Tortillas tortillas are Mexican, but the nacho thing itself, I think is, I want to say it's an American invention. I don't remember. I mean, I'd have to do some research on that, honestly. Find out if it's really like a full-on Mexican traditional dish. If anybody knows, please correct me, because I have no idea. Guys, I came home from work, and I'm hungry, and I figure I might as well just talk to you guys as I'm making my food, because the cats don't respond back. It's just boring. Alright, so while the chips are toasting, I'm going to chop some olives, because I like a little bit of olives in my nachos. So, black Kalamata olives, and they're not pitted, so I'm going to pit them. And then I'm going to chop them, because that'll be a lot easier. Nice. Ah, nice to see you, Sid. I'm putting olives. Well, you know what? This is actually a really easy technique. You just squash them with the knife, and see they pop open, kind of like that, and then you just have to pop that out. Look at that. Oh, it's easy. I mean, I wouldn't do an entire jar of them, but this is a faster technique, I find. Just watch out if you're doing this, and if you squash them towards yourself, sometimes they spit out a little bit of like the oily olive juice, and you don't want to get that on your clothes, so. Yeah, olives are tasty. They add that nice little salty element to it. And I'll kind of do these ones in 2 steps. So I'll do them with the cheese and the cooked, not cooked ingredients on the top. And then I'll put on the fresh stuff afterwards. So the avocado, the sour cream. And I have some salsa that's fermenting on the stovetop right now. I'm not sure if it's quite ready. No, I'll keep my fingers crossed. It has a good taste, so I'll use that too. I'm sure you're probably all wondering, fermenting salsa, what? Yeah, okay, so I do something called lactofermentation. I started doing that in 2020, you know, when we all started learning new techniques and tricks and stuff during COVID. We had nothing else to do. So I started doing lactofermentation. I'm not a big fan of pickles or anything in vinegar, but I learned how to lactoferment pickles, and they are absolutely fantastic. So the way it works is you basically take the fresh vegetables and you put them in a salty brine solution with herbs and things like that, and then you leave them at room temperature, and they start fermenting because of the natural bacteria that are on the outside of the fruits or vegetables. And it actually gives them this really nice sort of tangy, spicy flavor. And the pickles are fantastic. And I started doing it with salsa. So, I'm going to show you my salsa as it's sitting here on the stovetop. This is lacto-fermented salsa. So it's got tomatoes and onions and cilantro and peppers and jalapeno and some garlic. And then, of course, the salt solution. And then I let this sit out here for maybe a week till it gets a nice sort of like a tangy funk to it. And when it gets to that point, then I pop them in the fridge, and they're good for a couple of months usually. Really, really surprising and really good. Do I put diced cilantro? I do put cilantro a little bit if I have it fresh. Isa, I will send you the links for the recipes I use. It's actually a really easy technique, and you know when you've screwed up, because when you open one of these jars, they will smell the most nasty possible. But if you get it right, it is so good, and it's so easy to make. It's basically chopping a giant bowl of vegetables and then letting it sit on the stovetop in jars for days. That's it. Super easy. So cilantro, I do not put cilantro very often on my nachos, only because of the fact that I don't often have fresh cilantro on hand. But if I do, and I happen to because I just made that salsa, it's a good idea. I might do that, because I'm one of those people who love cilantro, so I like to use it in a lot of dishes and stuff. Let's see. These are looking not bad. How's that for a good tortilla chip toast? Getting good, eh? Maybe we flip them over The key crazy thing is the oven hasn't even rang yet. Yep, toasty. Toasty, but not quite done. The bottom is still white. So I'm gonna flip them. Get a little bit more toast on those. Not too much. This is where it gets dangerous. You get to that point where they look good and they need just a minute more, and then you leave them for 2 and they go black. Ashley! How's it going? I was hoping you'd pick up. And Ashley, guess what? We're making nachos with cheese. just for you. So Ashley, you remember the rest of the gang? Issa, Sid, Callum, regulars. Alright. Second side toasting. It is getting better. There's gonna be cheese. There's gonna be 2 cheeses, Ashley. 2. Dude, you missed a crazy night. We had like all the fondues. Seriously. I know the rest of you know that Ashley was my coworker for quite a while, and we're missing her terribly at work right now. I mean, we're missing her terribly anyways, but that's where we hang out, is at work, so. Alright, I was grating some cheese. I'm gonna do a mix. I like a little bit of gooey cheese in my nachos, so we're doing mozzarella. No, actually this is also cheddar. Ha! Okay, so this is what's considered very mild cheddar. I'm not sure what that means, but it's very mild. And it's, there you go. Can't get more traditional than that. Petit Quebec. Very mild basically means it tastes like, what? Milk? Tastes like nothing. It's just a gooey mess to go on top. And then this is Balderson's. Balderson's is a Canadian one too, but this is, there we go. See, we're gonna balance everything out. I have a very mild cheddar and I have an extra old cheddar. So that's gonna balance out to a medium cheddar, I say. How does that sound? Medium? Is that good math? There we go. Cheese. Oop. Okay. Before I get to that dangerous point, I'm gonna take those out. Where's my oven mitts? Chips. We got chips. So that's okay. Now, polling the audience: when you make nachos, do you make layers in your nachos, or you just put the chips on the bottom and then everything else on top? Just wondering how in depth you go. Layers, yes, yes, Issa. Sid, how about you? You seem to be a nacho aficionado. You do layers, or you just put all the cheese and then stuff on top? Plate of chips, bowl of dip. All right, sounds good. Why not? Any kind of dip, or just salsa, sour cream, anything? Let's try and get these together so I get a good amount of cheese on this. There we go. Cheddar. Nice. Okay, sounds good. Oh, cheddar dip. Ooh, really? That sounds delightful. Okay, layers. Yeah, see, it's kind of like when I was doing the poutine. Poutine is one of those things, too, where some people are of the mind that you just dump everything back and forth, or one on top of the other, and it kind of works out in the end, but I like layers. I like to have a little bit of everything in every bite. Just kind of makes sense. Well, initial toss. Huh, okay. And just out of curiosity, because Taco Bell was one of those things that showed up in Canada very, very late in the game here. I'm going to say maybe 15, 20 years ago. So my childhood was not necessarily big on Taco Bell stuff. So what was involved in one of those kids' meals at a Taco Bell? Just curious. And a dip cup of cheddar cheese, a little bag of chips. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, got some cherry tomatoes I'm putting on there. I like a good tomato in my nachos too. And now we're going to do more chips. Oh, you know, the garden tomatoes were sad this year. I've got a handful of them in the drawer, and they're just not ripening at all anymore. Like I said, we lost all of our plants. Oh, do you get Campari tomatoes? Yeah, those are good. These ones they're called Scarlet Pearls. They're just cherry tomatoes. But, yeah, no, I have a handful of, yeah, the plants just lost it. It was really, really sad. They got this horrible blight, which is, and I found this out by doing the research, it's called late blight. And it's the same thing as what affected all of the potato plants in Ireland during the Irish potato famine, causing them to die out basically in the space of a couple of weeks and causing a whole bunch of people to die unnecessarily from hunger. So it affects any kind of nightshade family plants, of which tomatoes happen to be also. And so all of our plants got it. We ended up ripping out most of the plants within the space of 2 weeks and harvesting as many tomatoes green as we could before they got infected with the blight. And some of them ripened. Yeah, they are. Some of them ripened. Most of them didn't. And yeah, it was just really sad to put all that work in and get maybe half of what we normally pick on the tomato plants. Good amount of tomato sauce though. I ended up inheriting a 25-pound box of tomatoes from work when we closed up for the fall holidays. And so I made tomato sauce with that. So I think 30 jars in the basement right now is gonna last me all winter. Hopefully. Hopefully. Yeah, really yummy tomato sauce. Super easy too. All right, chips, cheese, tomatoes, olives. Yeah, that's good. We're gonna go with that. Into the oven. Let that melt a little bit. I'm leaving it on the bake. I sometimes do my nachos really fast and just broil them, but it burns the edges of the chips, and I don't really want to do that, so I think I'll just let them bake a little bit while I'm chopping. What am I chopping next? Oh, avocado. That's what I'm doing. I'll show you another trick that I have. I rarely, if ever, buy sour cream. Now, it's a conscious decision, only because I tend to buy it and then I have no other use for it in the fridge. Granted, I eat a lot of Mexican dishes, but for whatever reason, I find it more expensive. So what I do is I buy plain yogurt. I eat plain yogurt basically every day anyways, but I buy a thicker, like a Greek yogurt with a higher fat content, and this works basically the same as a sour cream. Plus, then I can eat it for breakfast. I mix a little bit of jam into it, or some fresh fruit and some granola. Oh, okay. Avocados. Well, it all depends on when you're eating them. Are you eating them the day you're buying them? Are you eating them in a week? Are you eating them in 2 weeks? Here we can buy little bags of them, so there's like 5 of them. Tell you what, I will pull some out, and we'll see what we can do with avocados. Hang on. I got some of them. Oops, there's the cilantro. So you know that avocados in the fridge won't ripen won't ripen very fast because they're too cold. So see, this one's really green. This one I bought 2 weeks ago, and it's been in the fridge since. So that's not ripening. These ones here were already starting to ripen a little bit in the bag, so I put them in the fridge to halt the ripening because I don't want to eat them all in the space of one day. These two here are starting to ripen nicely because I put them, the stemmy bit? Yeah, the stemmy bit's on. These ones here are getting ripe because I have them in a fruit basket with some oranges and some bananas. So the best thing to do if you want to ripen avocados is stick them with fruits, particularly apples and bananas, because the apples and bananas, as they are ripening, are releasing, I think it's called ethylene gases. And those gases will actually help ripen the avocados. Now, if you want to find a ripe avocado, one trick that some people do is they pop the stem off and then look at the flesh inside. If it's green, that means it's nice and ripe. But the problem is that if your avocado is green on the outside and really hard, like this one, it's going to be green looking inside too. Yeah, you can put them, I find they ripen at room temperature. That's kind of an important one. That's good. Thank you. So if you want to ripen them, first of all, keep them out in a fruit basket. Second of all, to select good ones, you want to kind of press your thumb into them. So if you want to buy one at the store that's actually super ripe and ready to eat, you want to press your thumb into them and see if there's like a little bit of a give. But you don't want it to be super mush either. You'll be able to feel if it's still really hard, because it will feel like you could knock it on wood and it would like make a noise. Whereas these ones here are soft enough, if I actually bang them, they're going to leave a good dent. But, I mean, it's kind of one of those things you kind of have to feel, you have to feel up a lot of avocados before you figure it out. Wrap in the newspaper and put them over on their side. That's a good idea. We do paper bags, but yeah, newspaper would be the same thing. That keeps the natural gases of the ripening fruit close. Okay, so if you peel them and they have brown, it means that they're starting to get a little overripe, or they are bruised during either packaging or shipping. And then the bruises go brown. And that's unfortunately something you can't really account for when you buy them, because you can't open them up and look at them. Those are all going in the fridge. But we'll see if this one is actually a good one now that I cut it open. Not usually. If they have brown spots, they're not rotten. Avocados, when they're rotten, will look like black and possibly moldy. Okay. That was a good one. The light's a little bright. I don't know if you can... There we go. So that one's like perfectly creamy and really nicely ripe. Yeah, that's nice and soft. No crunch there. Unripe avocados have a horrible crunch to them. It's not appealing. I do need a good spoon for this though. I have one in particular that works really well and I'm not seeing it right now. Nope. Alright. I'll use this one. So I just scoop that out. And then I'm going to compost. If you're going to keep a half an avocado, they will go brown. But if you're going to keep it, keep the one that has the pit still attached to it. It'll actually stay. Ooh. I guess avocados that have the little stem piece not attached to the store's theories that the fruit was picked and it came off the tree. Oh, that's interesting. I find that a lot of people tend to check the doneness of the ripeness of the avocados by flicking that little stem off in the grocery store. I've seen people do it. And so, as much as that would be a really good tip, it might be slightly incorrect in a grocery store where people are doing that. Say hi to Mufasa for me. Should tell him to come join us. Alright, we got chips. This actually, I'm looking at it now, it looks like a pizza. a really delicious crunchy pizza. Yeah, they're kind of ruining the whole theory. Alright, tell them to go find it on YouTube afterwards. Alright, so I'm just putting some avocado on here. I diced it up. It's ripe but not mush. Well, it depends on what you can find mush. My hand is mush right now. But it's ripe but not mush, so I was still able to dice it really nicely and put it on top of the nachos. I'm going to grab another clean spoon. That's one of those things when you're making tortillas, you're going to use all the spoons in the house. Definitely. Second spoon. Okay, now we're going to do the yogurt sour cream. You'll see this is really like super thick and delicious. It really does have a sour cream-like texture and is still excellent as a breakfast yogurt. Yeah, all the spoons. I try sometimes to minimize the amount of spoons I use, but I don't like the idea of licking a spoon and then putting it into another jar, because then you're just introducing bacteria and then your food is just going to go bad fast. But, I mean, I'm just going to lick this anyway, so I'll put it in the sink afterwards. So that's two spoons now. There we go. We'll keep track. 2 spoons. And oh, and I used one for the olives. I lost that one. Where the heck did that one? Ah, there it is. Okay. Ooh. 3rd spoon. This is my antique holy spoon. This is what I use for the pickles and the salsa to get all the juice. Probably bought it at a garage sale / flea market, then drilled holes in it. So now it's a holy spoon. All right, which salsa? There we go. We're gonna take this one because it's half full. So, salsa. And right in the top of these, I have a little glass disc that just holds the vegetables underneath the level of the brine, and that keeps them from molding. If they're in contact with oxygen on the top of the jars, they will mold or just grow like fuzz and stuff, whereas as long as they're underneath the liquid, they're safe. So I'm just gonna scoop some of this out. That's a pretty decent looking salsa, and actually this one smells really good, so I think it's gonna be ready to put in the fridge. Now it does have a lot of juice because of that brine, so I do want to strain it a little bit, otherwise my nachos will just kind of go mush. And then I'm gonna put that glass disc back in the top. Oop. Close that sucker up. What did we say? We said, okay, so that's calorie counting, that's 3 spoons now. 3. I'm gonna grab this. Grab myself something to drink. There we go. Some juice and some sparkling water. It's always yummy. And we said cilantro, right? I think. Actually, you know what? I've got some cilantro in the salsa, so I'm going to go for some chives. So I have chives that I grew in the garden. Those grew okay. I chop them up and I freeze them, and they basically are sprinkleable. So that's frozen chives, and with the heat of the tortillas, they'll just defrost like instantaneously. And then the rest of this bag I just pop back in the freezer, and I'll use them on baked potatoes and other things. That's my 2023 harvest. Yup. Yup. Alright, and because we're not going to bother with dishes, I'm just going to eat it right off of this pizza platter. So, there you go. That would be late night nachos. And this is going to be my supper. lots of vegetables, so I feel like I'm eating healthy. With the tortillas and the cheese, not too much cheese, and the yogurt. So what we're getting most of the food groups. I mean, there's no meat, but that's fine too. You could always do this with like ground beef, or I've done it with mixed beans that I saute with some onions and peppers and some taco spices, and that's actually really good too. Makes a vegetarian version, which is always nice. But yeah, I am going to chow down on this now with my glass of juice. Hey, you guys are awesome. Seriously. Thanks a lot for sitting down with me. Yes, I know you, Ash, would love these, wouldn't you? No meats, cheese, and yogurt is all good. Yep. We'll share a platter when you come back to Montreal, right, Ashley? Looking forward to it. Have a great night, guys, and who knows? Tomorrow might be another one of these. I'll think about it. Just have a great night. I'll see you guys around.